The transport shuttle rattled as it docked with Kepler 7 station, and Maya Torres felt her stomach drop. Not from fear, from the artificial gravity shifting 3 times in as many seconds. Around her, the other human cadets gripped their restraints, jaws tight. Outside the viewport, the massive orbital academy sprawled across space like a metallic spider, its arms reaching toward distant stars. "Deathworlders," someone muttered over the station's open channel. Laughter followed. Alien laughter, sharp and chittering. Maya unbuckled and stood, her boots mag-locking to the deck. She was 23, lean and hard from years of training in Earth's punishing gravity. Her dark hair was pulled back tight, her eyes cold. Behind her, Marcus Hall rose to his full height, nearly 2 meters of muscle and bone that made the alien station crew step back nervously. The rest of the team followed. 6 humans total. 6 cadets from a world the Galactic Council called a death trap. "Welcome to the Galactic Military Academy," an insectoid instructor said as they entered the main corridor. Its mandibles clicked with barely concealed contempt. "You will find our standards far exceed anything your primitive world prepared you for." Maya said nothing. She'd heard it all before. Earth was too heavy, too hostile, too violent. Humans were aggressive, reckless, built for a planet that actively tried to kill them. The galaxy's other species had evolved on garden worlds with gentle weather and predictable ecosystems. They looked at humanity and saw barbarians. The instructor led them deeper into the station, past groups of alien cadets who stared with compound eyes and sensor stalks. Some whispered, others simply watched, analyzing the humans like specimens in a lab. "You will begin with the vault trial," the instructor announced, stopping before a massive sealed door covered in ancient symbols. "It is a combat simulation designed 500 years ago by the predecessor race. No species has ever completed it. Most fail within the first 10 minutes. Marcus leaned close to Maya. "Sounds like a setup." "Always is," she whispered back. The instructor's mandibles spread in what might have been a smile. "You have 2 hours. If you survive, you will have earned the right to continue your training here. If not, your bodies will be returned to Earth with our condolences." The door hissed open, revealing a dark chamber beyond. Red emergency lights pulsed along the walls. Maya felt the air pressure change immediately, saw the gravity indicators flicker on her wrist display. The simulation environment was already active, already hostile. "Move," she ordered, and her team entered the darkness. The door sealed behind them with a sound like a tomb closing. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then, the gravity tripled. Maya's knees buckled but held. Around her, the other cadets dropped into combat crouches, their enhanced bone density and muscle mass handling the shift that would have crushed most alien species flat. "Adaptive environment," Marcus grunted, pulling his rifle from his back. "It's testing our tolerance." The first attack came from above. Automated defense turrets dropped from concealed panels in the ceiling, their targeting lasers painting red dots across the team's armor. Maya moved before her conscious mind processed the threat, rolling left as particle beams scorched the floor where she'd been standing. The smell of ozone filled her helmet. "Suppressing fire!" she shouted, and the cadets opened up with coordinated bursts. Their weapons were standard galactic issue, energy rifles designed for species with slower reflexes and weaker grip strength. In human hands, they fired twice as fast. The turrets exploded in sequence, raining sparking debris. But the simulation wasn't done. The floor beneath them suddenly split open, revealing a chasm filled with swirling magnetic fields that would shred organic matter in seconds. Maya's team scattered to the walls, mag boots engaging, moving along the vertical surface like gravity meant nothing. "This isn't a test," Marcus said, his voice tight. "This is an execution." Maya's mind raced. 500 years, no completions. The aliens didn't expect anyone to survive this, let alone finish it. They'd sent the humans here to die, to prove their point about Deathworld primitives. That made her angry, and anger made her sharp. "Forget their doctrine," she said into the team channel. "We go full Earth protocol. Hunt and adapt." The simulation changed again. The chamber expanded, walls sliding back to reveal a massive arena filled with hostile drones, energy barriers, and gravitational anomalies that bent light itself. A voice echoed through the space, cold and artificial. Combat Scenario Alpha. Survival probability 0.03%. Maya grinned inside her helmet. 0.03%. The simulation had calculated their odds based on galactic species standards. It had no idea what humans could do. She dropped from the wall, hit the ground in a roll, and came up firing. Her team moved like wolves, spreading out and flanking, using cover that wasn't designed for their level of aggression. They didn't fight like the careful, methodical aliens who'd attempted this trial before. They fought like predators from a world where everything wanted them dead. The drones swarmed, but human reaction times were faster. The energy barriers locked into patterns, but human pattern recognition cracked them in seconds. The gravity wells tried to crush them, but humans had evolved carrying their own body weight under 1 full G every moment of their lives. Marcus found the first real clue 12 minutes in. A control node hidden behind a false wall, pulsing with ancient energy signatures. Maya, this isn't just a simulation. This is controlling something. Real. She reached his position, saw the readouts on his scanner. Her blood went cold, then hot. The Vault trial wasn't testing them. It was protecting something. Something powerful enough that the predecessor race had locked it behind the deadliest obstacle course in known space. Keep pushing, she ordered. I want to know what they're hiding. The team moved deeper. The simulation threw everything at them. Rooms that rotated at lethal speeds. Floors that became electrified grids. Swarms of micro-drones that could strip flesh from bone. But humans had survived ice ages and supervolcanoes. They'd crawled out of Earth's oceans and conquered a planet that tried to kill them with weather, predators, diseases, and disasters. A combat simulation was just another Tuesday. At the 30-minute mark, they breached the core chamber. It was vast. Cathedral-sized, dominated by a spherical structure suspended in crackling energy fields. Ancient text scrolled across holographic displays in a language Maya didn't recognize, but the readings were clear enough. This was a weapon platform. A real one, and it was connected to something massive outside the station. We're not in a simulation anymore, Marcus breathed. We're in the actual control center. The AI spoke again, but this time its tone had changed. Trial parameters exceeded. Adaptive response initiated. The chamber came alive. Defense systems that hadn't activated in 5 centuries powered up with a sound like thunder. Weapons platforms emerged from the walls, targeting the human cadets with enough firepower to level a city. Maya made a split-second decision. We don't stop. We finish this. Whatever's at the end, we claim it. They ran, not away, but toward the central sphere, dodging energy blasts and particle beams, using their momentum and Earth-trained reflexes to move through a kill zone that should have been impossible to survive. The AI kept recalculating their odds, and Maya could hear the confusion in its mechanical voice as the probability of human success kept rising. At 43 minutes, they reached the final barrier, a biometric lock designed to recognize the neural patterns of the predecessor race. It should have been unbreakable. But humans had brought something the ancient designers never anticipated. Desperation, creativity, and the willingness to break rules that weren't working. Marcus pulled a shaped charge from his pack, standard demolition gear from Earth, going kinetic. The explosion was brief and brutal. The lock shattered, and the sphere opened like a flower. Inside, a crystalline core pulsed with light that hurt to look at directly. The AI's voice rose to a crescendo. Vault trial complete. Time elapsed. 45 minutes, 17 seconds. Claiming protocol initiated. Maya reached out and touched the core. Information flooded her mind. Specifications, capabilities, target acquisition systems. This wasn't just a weapon. This was the Spear of Andara, a reality-warping orbital cannon capable of collapsing star systems or punching wormholes through space-time itself. The predecessor race had built it, then hidden it, then created the Vault trial to ensure only the worthy could ever claim it. For 500 years, no species had been worthy. Until now. Alarms screamed across Kepler. 7. In the observation deck, alien instructors and council officials stood frozen, staring at displays that showed the impossible. The Deathworld Cadets had done it. They'd completed the trial. They'd activated the spear, and by ancient law, they'd just claimed it for Earth. The station's command center erupted into chaos. A Valyrian admiral slammed all 4 of its appendages on the control console. This is unacceptable. Shut down the trial. Override the claiming protocol. We cannot, the station AI responded calmly. The law is absolute. The trial was completed. Earth has legal claim to the Spear of Andara. A Crithian diplomat, its crystalline body flashing with agitation, turned to the lead instructor. You sent them to die. How did they survive? The insectoid had no answer. It had watched the entire event through the station's monitoring systems, and it still didn't understand. The humans had moved too fast, adapted too quickly, solved problems that should have taken hours in mere minutes. They'd treated a 500-year-old death trap like a training exercise. Send security forces, the Admiral ordered. Secure the weapon before they can extract it. But it was already too late. A new ship appeared on the station's sensors, dropping out of faster-than-light travel with the precision of a surgical strike. It was massive, sleek, bristling with weapons and diplomatic flags. The hull bore Earth's insignia and one word in a dozen languages: sovereignty. Queen Amara Chen had arrived. She strode into the command center 30 minutes later, flanked by human guards in powered armor that made the alien security forces look like children. She was tall, regal, with dark skin and eyes that had negotiated treaties with empires and declared war on threats. She wore formal robes that somehow made her look more dangerous, not less. "Gentlemen," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos, "I believe my cadets have completed your trial." The Valyrian admiral tried to stand its ground. "This is a mistake. The weapon cannot be claimed by a species barely 50 years into galactic contact. We demand arbitration." Amara smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Arbitration? Very well. Let's discuss the law. The Vol trial was established under the predecessor Accord, Section 12, Paragraph 7. Any species that completes the trial claims the protected asset. No exceptions, no appeals. The law you wrote. The law you've enforced for half a millennium. Your species didn't even know the trial existed until today, the Crithian diplomat protested. Didn't we? Amara's smile widened. Interesting assumption. Tell me, how many human technicians have worked on this station in the past 20 years? How many human engineers maintain your systems? How many human analysts process your intelligence data? The command center went quiet. The truth settled over them like ice water. Earth hadn't stumbled into this. They'd planned it, prepared for it, positioned themselves across galactic infrastructure, waiting for the moment when their cadets would prove what Deathworld training could accomplish. "You infiltrated us," the Admiral said, its voice hollow. "We joined you," Amara corrected. "We learned from you, and we've been very patient, waiting for the right opportunity. My cadets gave me that opportunity. Now I'm claiming what is legally ours. The Spear of Andara could destroy civilizations," another council member said. "You cannot be trusted with such power." Amara's expression hardened. "You mean the civilizations that called us primitives? That sent my people into a death trap hoping they'd fail? That laughed at us for coming from a world that made us strong instead of soft?" She stepped closer to the central display, where the weapon platform's readings pulsed with terrible potential. "Trust is earned. You haven't earned ours. But we've earned this weapon by surviving what you couldn't." The Admiral made a decision. A bad one. "Security forces seize the Queen. Lock down the weapon chamber. This farce ends now." Armed aliens rushed into the command center from multiple entrances, but they stopped when they saw the human guards raise their weapons with the smooth precision of soldiers who'd trained in 3 times normal gravity. The tension stretched like a wire about to snap. Maya's voice crackled over the command channel. "Your Majesty, we have a problem down here." In the weapon chamber, the cis-human cadets stood in a defensive circle around the spear's core. Surrounding them were dozens of alien soldiers in heavy combat armor, weapons trained on the humans. The situation had gone from trial completion to hostage standoff in minutes. A Valyrian commander stepped forward. "Surrender the weapon core. You are outnumbered and outgunned." Marcus checked his rifle's charge pack and laughed. "Outgunned? Maybe. Outnumbered? He looked at Maya. What do you think? Maya assessed the situation with the cold calculation her instructors had drilled into her since basic training. 37 hostiles, 6 humans, confined space. The aliens had superior firepower and numbers, but they were standing in a room with artificial gravity they controlled, and humans had just spent 45 minutes learning to exploit exactly these kinds of systems. We hold, she said simply. You're insane, the commander said. Surrender or we will open fire. If you fire in here, you risk damaging the weapon, Maya countered. And if you damage the weapon, the Galactic Council loses it forever. You won't shoot. The commander's translator couldn't quite convey the sound it made, but the intent was clear. Frustrated rage. Then we will wait. We will starve you out. You've got 30 hours before Earth's fleet arrives, Maya said calmly. They won't wait politely. That wasn't a bluff. The moment Queen Amara had received confirmation of trial completion, she'd activated protocols Earth had been preparing for years. Human ships were already in transit, ready to enforce their claim with violence if necessary. Back in the command center, Amara watched the standoff play out on monitors. Your move, Admiral. You can fight us, lose soldiers, risk destroying the weapon, and start a war with a species you clearly underestimated. Or you can honor the law. Let my people extract the spear and accept that the balance of power just shifted. The Crithian diplomat leaned close to the Admiral. Our analysts are running projections. If conflict begins, human forces will inflict unacceptable casualties before we can contain them. They fight like they have nothing to lose, because we come from a world that tried to kill us every day, Amara said, overhearing. We learn to fight back against impossible odds. That's what Deathworlders do. We survive. We adapt. And we win. The Admiral stared at the display showing the Spear of Andara. 500 years. Countless species had tried and failed to claim it. And now, in 45 minutes, humans had succeeded through sheer aggressive competence. The weapon was powerful enough to reshape galactic politics. In Earth's hands, it would make them a superpower overnight. If we allow this, the Admiral said slowly, everything changes. Everything already changed, Amara replied. You just didn't notice until my cadets kicked down your door. The Admiral made a decision. A pragmatic one. Stand down, it ordered its security forces. Let the humans extract the weapon. The tension didn't break. It transformed. In the weapon chamber, the alien soldiers lowered their weapons reluctantly, backing away from the human cadets who remained in defensive positions, not trusting the sudden change. Maya kept her rifle up until the last hostile left the room. We're clear, she reported to the Queen. Acknowledged. Begin extraction. I'm sending engineers. The extraction took 6 hours. Human technicians swarmed into the weapon chamber, working with the speed and efficiency of a species that had learned to build skyscrapers in earthquake zones and cities in hurricane paths. They disconnected the spear's core from the station's systems, packaged it in specialized containment fields, and transported it to the Sovereignty under armed guard. The Galactic Council could only watch as their greatest secret, their most powerful deterrent, left the station in human hands. Some species protested, others calculated new political alignments, turning computing diplomatic overtures to Earth. Queen Amara stood at the viewport of the Sovereignty as the ship prepared to depart. Below her, Kepler. 7 Station hung in space, suddenly looking smaller and less impressive. Behind her, Maya and her team stood at attention, still in their combat gear, still ready for another fight if needed. You did well, Amara said without turning. Better than well. You changed history today. We just ran the trial, Your Majesty, Maya replied. You did more than that. You proved something I've been trying to tell the galaxy for 20 years. Amara turned to face them. Humans aren't primitives. We're survivors. And survival makes us dangerous in ways they can't comprehend. Marcus spoke up carefully. What happens now? Amara smiled. Now we go home. We mount the spear in Earth orbit. We demonstrate its capabilities to anyone who doubts our claim. And we make it very clear that humanity is no longer asking for a seat at the galactic table. We're taking it. The Sovereignty jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving Kepler 7 behind. Inside the ship's secure vault, the Spear of Andara hummed with barely contained power. its systems already integrating with human technology. Engineers ran simulations testing its capabilities, marveling at what the predecessor race had built and what humanity had just claimed. On Earth, news of the trial spread like wildfire. The cadets became instant legends. The Queen's bold move was debated in every parliament and war room. But the message was clear to everyone, human and alien alike. The Deathworld species had arrived, and they weren't playing by the old rules anymore. In the Galactic Council chambers, emergency sessions ran for days. Some called for sanctions, others demanded war. But the pragmatists, the ones who'd actually analyzed what happened, understood the truth. Humanity hadn't cheated. They'd simply been better, faster, more aggressive, more willing to break themselves against impossible challenges until those challenges broke first. The Valurian admiral submitted its resignation, citing failure to properly assess threat levels. The Crithian diplomat began drafting a trade agreement with Earth, hoping to align with the rising power before it was too late. Across the galaxy, military academies started studying the Vault trial recordings, trying to understand how 6 humans had accomplished what entire species couldn't. They would never truly understand, because they hadn't grown up on Earth. They hadn't learned to walk under crushing gravity. They hadn't survived predators and diseases and natural disasters that could wipe out civilizations. They hadn't spent their entire evolutionary history fighting for every breath, every meal, every moment of existence. Humans had, and that made all the difference. 6 months later, the Spear of Andara hung in geosynchronous orbit above Geneva, visible from the ground as a point of light that outshone the stars. It had fired exactly once, in a demonstration that collapsed an uninhabited moon in the outer rim, and sent a clear message to any species considering military action against Earth. The message was simple: do not test us. Maya Torres stood in her new office at Earth Defense Command, watching the spear through the window. She'd been promoted 3 times since Kepler 7. So had the rest of her team. They were heroes now, symbols of human capability and determination. But she didn't feel like a hero. She felt like a soldier who'd done her job, who'd survived another impossible situation. Because that's what humans did. They survived. Her communicator chimed. Queen Amara's face appeared on the small screen. Captain Torres, how are you adjusting to the command? Still getting used to the desk, Your Majesty. I prefer the field, Amara laughed. Don't worry. Something tells me you'll be back in the field soon enough. The galaxy hasn't finished testing us yet. Let 'em test, Maya said, her voice hard with confidence. We've got 5 billion years of Earth training. 45 minutes was just the warm-up. The transmission ended and Maya turned back to the window. Above her, the Spear of Andara pulsed with silent power, a weapon 500 years in the waiting, now claimed by the species the galaxy had underestimated. The Deathworld Cadets had done the impossible, and in doing so they'd rewritten the rules of galactic civilization. Humanity had arrived, and they'd brought their worst nightmare with them, themselves.